Welcome back to Elizabeth Plants. My name's Elizabeth and today is the final packing vlog. So today is Tuesday. We are loading up all the moving trucks and trailers and cars on Friday, and we are taking to the road extremely early on Saturday. I work all Wednesday, half of today, and half of Thursday. So I have to get everything in this room pretty much prepared to just pop the lid on and load it today. It's not gonna happen today. My goal is to just get the bulk of it done today. And then I'm going to kind of wrap up in the small spaces I have throughout the week. And then also a little bit Friday morning if need be. But I have a lot of plants to prepare, and I sort of semi-prepared them and then realized I didn't have enough containers, had to buy more containers, and so now we're just going to actually prepare them. So in this room, within view, is my entire collection, and we have to make it all, or at least the large majority of it, fit into all of these containers that I have. And so my plan today is to water what needs to be watered, probably most of it, or at least half, but water what needs to be watered, propagate anything that's struggling, just in case. Then I'm going to actually take some tape, just some colored masking tape. I've got a whole bunch of colors, and some paper towel. I've got lots of paper towel, and I am just going to tape down the tops of the plants as if I was shipping them. I'm going to focus on the large plants first because those ones are actually going to be on their side in these containers. And then I'm going to actually pack everything in the containers they're going in, legitimately, except for the tall plants will be laid on their side in shipping. So I am going to lay them on their side just to test to make sure that they'll fit, but then I'm going to stand them upright in the containers they'll be in, and then they'll stay upright until we go to actually move, and then I'll lay them over on their side. First, we're just going to start watering and then taping. Okay, I don't think you've got the best angle, but there's not a ton of free space in this room. But this is the first guy I'm going to tape up, but I'm also going to do something radical. But I didn't bring the tools. So this is the guy we're talking about in question. You'll have to forgive the cats. They're a little bit curious about what the heck we keep doing all around the house. I think I'm going to trim him, because I don't think at the height that he is at, he's going to fit in the containers. So I'm going to cut them back quite a bit. That way if the full plant doesn't survive, I do have cuttings. But I think that's what I'm going to do before I tape this guy up. He's still pretty heavy, so I'm only going to water him a little bit. I don't want to rinse off the leaves. Yesterday I did a nice dusting on every single thing of the diatomaceous earth, just kind of over the entire collection, because I don't want bugs to flare up because they're in enclosed spaces together. So I dusted everything and I don't want to rinse that off. So I actually grabbed this container to water everything over top of. And I grabbed my scissors. He's kind of too tall for the camera. I'm cutting it right about where the camera is, which is approximately a foot down from the tallest leaf. Ta-da! Ta-da! Okay, I'm gonna water this guy. And I've got him kind of topped off with water, not fully watered. Hopefully just enough to last him. And now I am going to tape him up, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining it. I'm literally just shoving some paper towel on the dirt and then taping over it so less dirt falls out through the move. Kind of similar to how I might for shipping a plant. So if you've ever seen my shipping a plant video just like that, if you haven't, I will pin that to this video up in the corner for you to check out. I know, what am I doing with your trees? What am I doing with your trees? Not nice. I didn't even ask for permission, did I? It's tape. You don't like tape. See, Simone? You know you don't like tape. Ta-da! Let me show you this guy. So this is what it looks like. It's not perfectly taped because I think that's a waste of product. As long as I can use the paper towel and the tape together to stop most of the soil from dumping out, that's all I want. So first guy, done. And now this guy is kind of wide, so he's actually going to be in a tall container. And I've got an empty one right here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put him in. I'm gonna turn it off more. Okay, so he fits if I can get rid of this metal hole. So we're going to do that right here. This is also stand up straight, but it's hindering, so I'm gonna pull it out. Let's see what I'm doing. He's just barely fitting in right here. So I think I might trim him up just a little bit more. So he fits sideways. I'm not going to leave him sideways though. Stand up. This guy is what we're doing next. He does not love it at this apartment. I'm really hoping that he loves Texas a lot more. Yeah, he's really just not. Actually, now that I'm looking at him, he has quite the infestation, and I actually might have to throw him out. He's got quite the infestation. I'm gonna go put him in the tub and deal with him later. Okay, so that guy has an intense mealybug infestation that I think went unseen because he also has some sunburn, and they blend in with his sunburn. I'm going to see if I can't get rid of them, but I'm definitely not going to pack him with other plants, so he'll probably be freestanding if he comes. I haven't decided that. I checked every plant that was nearby him, and they all seem to be okay. And the only other plant that I know has had that infestation recently is my variegated ZZ, and I've been able to maintain and nearly fully get rid of it. So they were near each other way back when I discovered it on my variegated ZZ, so that would make sense that they were sharing it between each other. But now I'm gonna grab another plant. This guy was within reach. He's pretty sad, requires way more water than I'm able to offer, and he's alive. I know he's alive because when I dig in here, there's lots of green. I just can't keep up with the watering, so I'm gonna need to put him in a self-watering after the move. I just don't have one large enough because his root system is really massive. I just can't keep up with his greenery. He's dry right now, and I watered him a couple of days ago. He's in fairly draining soil right now, so I think just putting him in a self-watering pot in draining soil after the move will be helpful. So I'm gonna move this guy. He's not gonna take up much space, but he does have a lot of open soil, so I wanna make sure I cover him up. But I'm gonna water him first. Ta-da! Because he doesn't take up much space, I know he fits on his side. I'm gonna set him in here with the ficus. Okay, this guy was in leca, but I did the same thing, except for I didn't have to water him because he's sitting in water right now. But that's the drill. This box is entirely leca, and I just refilled the bin. It was empty of water. It's going to stay filled with water until we go to move, and then I'm just going to pop a lid on it. Anything that's above the lid can easily be pressed down underneath without hurting the plant or tucked in. So this one is pretty much already as packed as it's going to get, so I'm not going to bug any of these plants. I'm thinking this guy will fit really well in this bin I'm building over here as well, because he's not super tall, but he's tall enough to not be able to stand up straight in the bins. He's also not super wide, so I think he'll fit really well. Okay, so back in this corner is another box that is all packed. All of the plants that are in there are in leca and are short enough to be able to just kind of lay them a little bit flat and put the lid on, except this one right here. But there is enough space in the bottom of this barrel to put it on its side once I'm ready to put the lid on it. So this is box number 3. Packed and ready to go. This one I've already taped up, but the other ones I'm not going to bother because they will be remaining upright. Next, I'm going to be packing this box. We're going to start with this guy because I know he needs to be watered. All right, here is one down. Next, we've got this guy, and he's in a self-watering. I am not going to empty out his water until I go to pack up him permanently, simply because alocasia, and I know this one in particular, likes a lot of water. We have a couple plants in these self-watering pots that I will be placing in this, but I did want to, you're not gonna be able to see it well, and I'm not gonna be able to get close enough, but this is my Monstera standaleyana that I trimmed back the trail for, and right here, it's poking out a very large looking leaf. It's not done unfurling, so we're excited about that, and we're hoping the trip doesn't damage it. All right, so at the moment, this is what this box looks like. This plant and these 2 plants will be knocked over as well. I might be able to fit one more plant in here. It kind of depends, but right now this is kind of the plan, but with everything laying down. So now I'm gonna stand everything up just so that I can take better care of these guys. Now this bin is pretty packed up and everything is upright and will be upright in it. So I'm going to fill in some of the spaces with more plants and make sure all of these guys are nice and watered. All right, here is a bin with a lot of things on their side. I'm just gonna lay them on their side because I got them to fit so perfectly that I'm just going to leave them there. All of the plants in here have access to the sun where they are, so I'm not too concerned. Then we have this one, which is mostly filled with self-watering pots that are too wide to go in other containers. You've already seen that. And then if we cross my little space, you've already seen this one and the one over there. I showed you this one, and then we just packed up this one. So what we have left are a couple right here, the entire windowsill, which will fit in a shorter container. These guys up here, which will fit in a taller container. This guy back here. These guys, which will go both in short and tall containers depending. And then if we scan back over here, I've got my snake plant. That is what's left. All right, since we found some pests yesterday, I've diluted some rubbing alcohol into my sprayer, and I'm just going to go to town spraying everything down. I kind of wrapped up the packing off camera, though I was gifted a little cactus, so we have to make room for that. With the exception of these 4 guys, who I plan on, or 5 guys, I just plan on fitting them in where they fit. And then right there are all my cuttings, which will be packed up in little baggies with moist paper towel. I'm going to do that tomorrow, which is the day before we move, and those are just going to be in the car with me. So I'm not super worried about them, but let's spray everything down. Excuse me, cats. You're probably not gonna like being spritzed. Yeah, I didn't think so. And these guys recently got sprayed down. I'm going to check them tomorrow before packing them up. And those will also be in the car with me. So this is my entire collection in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 boxes, plus some loose guys that'll fit kind of wherever they fit. I have decided to mix in the diatomaceous earth with liquid to put it on the plants. I think that'll give it a more even coating, and I'm hoping that if I do it now, it will dry by the time I put the lid on these containers so that it'll actually work. So we're gonna do that. And I'm going to use my power sprayer, and I'm just gonna put what's in here, I think, like spray it directly into this. I'm shaking it in between spraying it simply because mine tends to get kind of clogged if I don't sometimes. It is officially loading day, and so I have to bag up all my cuttings. So I will be soaking a paper towel with water, putting the roots in the paper towel, just wrapping them up, putting them in baggies, and then if they dry out by tomorrow, because I won't be able to seal the baggie, I'm just gonna soak them before we go, and that's just gonna have to be it. They'll be in a closed container, so hopefully that'll keep the moisture in. Let's do this. You're not going to really get to see me, I don't think anybody minds, but each of these little cups in here, oh, I just pulled this one out of something. Each of these little cups in here has a bunch of plants. I'm going to see if I can't wrap most of a cup in one baggie to kind of save, but I have plenty of baggies, so I'm not worried. We're just gonna wrap up these roots together. And these are cheap baggies, so they're not really gonna seal up super nicely, which is kind of a bummer, but if we can do our best, then that's gonna have to be good enough. But here is the first one, and I folded it on itself to try and keep it sealed, and I'll lay it down like that. We don't have any roots yet on this one, but we're still gonna do it this way because it's been in water for a couple weeks now. And since it's an anthurium, it's probably going to be slow to root anyways. Got a couple of nubby boys. This one is finally starting to get some growth in it, not entirely sure what it is, but it's got plenty of roots. This one has like one itty bitty little root and is a pink princess. So unfortunately, this guy did not handle moving pots very well and is now a stump. We are trying to get back, so he has to be in water and therefore placed in this. We're really hoping he survives. Ta-da! And this container's got a white lid, and that's how she's being transported. All right, this is the remnants of my plants. I've got fans in, some of them on low. There's 2 boxes there. These 3. This one. Then we've got this guy and a couple of plants behind those boxes. These prop boxes. And then in another room, I've got my box of cuttings. And the guys are gonna load them up. So I never ended up filming the tail end of this video. I didn't load them into the truck and I was busy packing other things, so I couldn't film that. But that's essentially all that was left in the packing process. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're excited to see the moving story video / unpacking video or anything else regarding my move, I plan on talking about things I would do different, etc. Let me know what topics you're interested in down below, any questions you have. Subscribe to see more houseplant content, and I will see you next time.